believe that. Yeah, we are at 5:30. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. I am here this morning trying to get my tablet to cooperate. And it is not. There we go. Okay. First things first, and last things last. No. First things first, go ahead and inhale and exhale 3 times to get you some cleansing breaths going on. Quiet the mind. Let the brain know we about to use it. Okay, here we go. All right. Today's topic is treat people with dignity and respect. And before I gotta get used to this new tripod. All right. Before we get started, I'm going to go over a couple housekeeping guiding principles for this live. This is a learning live, so gather note-taking materials, whether they are physical or digital. Additionally, you will need to use a second device as we will be on YouTube while we're on YouTube. How cool is that? To get to our cognitive fitness part of the live. With that being said, go ahead on the second device and go to the turnarounddoctor.com. That is my website. And once you are there, you are going to go to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership. It's a little slow this morning for us, probably because my daughter and I both. There we go. All right. And then you're going to go to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership. You're going to scroll down to the authentic portion. Good morning, Lola. Go to the authentic portion, and then we are at number 2, which is to treat people with dignity and respect. Prior to getting to that, how did we get here? And how we got here, how I'm wearing my brain t-shirt, is I came out as a nerd on October 1st, 2024. And I realized that the reason why people can't hold themselves personally accountable on a daily basis is because it's neurological. Since then, I have been studying the brain to understand what needs to take place in order for you neurologically to start holding yourself personally accountable. And we are here. Neurogenesis is the process of creating new neurons in your brain that then transitions into neuroplasticity, where you are now creating neural pathways. You take those two together and you combine them with personal accountability, and what you have is neuropability. And that is the brain's ability to wire itself to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership in order for you to hold yourself personally accountable on a daily basis. And it also allows you to create unlimited neural pathways of personal accountability. The final part of that is that we use the executive function of our brain over here. That is the CEO of the brain located in the frontal lobe. And that is how you learn to wire your brain to learn how to hold yourself personally accountable, creating neuropability. Without further ado, let's use your frontal lobe today. Treat people with dignity and respect. As I've mentioned before, I started writing my book in 2008, published the book in 2009, and we are here in 2025 still using everything that's in the book and more. Hence, we are live on YouTube. Since I've been going over the individual principles of real leadership, I have been defining each word in the principle of real leadership so that you have a full, total, complete meaning of every principle of real leadership. And today, we are going to look at treat people with dignity and respect. Then we will be talking about why it's not occurring, how it needs to occur, and then we will go into our cognitive fitness activity, follow up on our principles of real leadership yesterday. Any questions that you have or any learnings, you'll share them at that time, and then we'll go on our merry little Sunday way. The first word is treat. And so treat is behave toward or deal with in a certain way. Behave toward or deal with in a certain way. The next is people. And people is defined as human beings in general or considered collectively. Human beings in general or considered collectively. Number 3, or the third word, is with. Accompanied by. That means accompanied by. Put it together. Who are you going to dance with? Okay. So what are you going to treat people with? I'm glad you asked. Dignity. Now, I have never looked up the word dignity, or to my remembrance, I've not done it before. And today, as I searched the general meaning, I was like, that's not necessarily what I meant when I wrote the book. And I even did the Real Leader Brain this morning and the PA for today on dignity based upon this new expanded definition. And so that's the reason why I enjoy searching up words on the internet, because you get access to various different versions, but then you also get access to the expanded meaning as well. And this definition is what I meant when I wrote my book in 2008, published in 2009. It is this: dignity, the recognition that human beings possess a special value intrinsic to their humanity, and as such are worthy of respect simply because they are human beings. I'm going to say it slower now. The recognition that human beings possess a special value intrinsic to their humanity, and as such are worthy of respect simply because they are human beings. And that is human dignity. And that's what I meant when I made this principle way back in 2008. Because you are a human being, it's intrinsic, your value, you are worthy of dignity and respect because you are a human being. That's what it is. Very much that simple. And used to connect words, clauses, or sentences that are to be taken jointly. So dignity is jointly with respect. And the definition of respect is due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others. Due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others. And that's why I say over here, you don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in a higher power. You can be agnostic, atheist. When I was in the military, we had a private that was Wiccan. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm saying, for me, having a higher power works for me. If it doesn't work for you, that's cool. If you decide to celebrate holidays, I've made the personal choice as a Christian, as a human being walking the face of planet Earth, I'm done with holidays. I'm holidayed out. But I ain't like, the fuck you doing celebrate Christmas? Man, what is that, some bullshit? Fuck Mother's Day. That's not what I'm doing. That's your personal choice as a human being to have those choices in your life. Now, when we start talking about harming others, do no harm is part of the Hippocratic oath. We start talking about harming others and being unsafe and being risky. Now I got a problem. I got a problem because you are harming other people and you're not treating people with dignity and respect. So that's when we're going to have a problem. But if you decide you're going to change your name to Blue and you're going to worship nail polish, that's your personal choice. That is your personal choice, and I can respect that. People take issue that have known me previously when I say Dr. Donna, Doc, or Dr. D are the names that I'm going to answer to. They have a problem with that. You over here wanting some titles and shit. I remember when you was Dee. Okay, well, I didn't choose any of those names. The name that I'm choosing, Ron Artest wants to be called Meta World Peace. I have no issue with that. If Ron Artest now wants to be called Meta World Peace, cool. Respect, dignity and respect, because that's what you wish. That's what I mean by dignity and respect. You are a human being, and so the intrinsic value, you are worthy of being treated with respect based upon your feelings, your wishes, your rights, your traditions, and everything else that you come along with. That's why I don't have an issue with people who they love. I don't have an issue with people who, well, let's use this as an example right now. So right now, Turtle Man is going against everything that I'm saying do. Turtle Man is saying, get out and womp womp and yapper. So Turtle Man is a perfect example of, I'm over here on my live, minding my own business, and this person woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And this person has decided, for some reason, they need a target this morning. And lo and behold, it should be Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. And so they have decided to disrupt and be disrespectful to what I'm doing. Right, you were bored. So you decided, because of your lack of a thorough working memory, that this would be good for you because you need a dopamine boost right now. You're looking for a hit. Nice little adrenaline rush, endorphin boost. So see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm talking about. A reckless disregard for treating me with dignity and respect because of whatever is happening in Turtle Man's life. I mean, here's a person who is not even confident enough to come online and be themselves. So there is a profile photo that is clearly not them, and a name, a nom de plume, to come on the internet and harass people. No, your life is not good. So this is a perfect example of someone whose life is not going as planned because they can't even come online as their actual selves. Okay, then what's your name, Turtle Man? What's your government name, Turtle Man? Since what I'm saying is not true, what's your government name? And what made you choose Turtle Man as your YouTube ID? Max, what's your last name, Max? Since you didn't wake up this morning clearly coming to disrespect Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers because you're bored. So now, because you're bored, as I've mentioned, unaccountable people need a host. You're looking for a dopamine boost. And see, so now this person has decided to attempt to call me names other than Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, Dr. D, or Doc, not treating me with dignity and respect because of whatever is taking place in Turtle Man's original life. So Turtle Man believes that they are getting what they came online for. And Turtle Man doesn't realize that they're the lesson this morning. A great lesson. That's why I like God, because God sends lessons all the time. All the time. So here I am once again minding my own business, and unaccountable people have decided they're bored on a Sunday morning or a Sunday, whatever time it is. And if you're across the pond, it might even be Sunday night, Monday morning, because even people in Australia are 19 hours ahead of us. So this is what this group of people have decided is acceptable behavior. Someone has typed something so foul that YouTube has said that that comment is under review. Okay. The question is, Turtle Man, why didn't you tell me your full name? The bigger question is, why are you here being disrespectful to Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers? I said your actual government name, the name that's on your identification for you to travel, to do anything, because I can. Okay. And what is your purpose here this morning, other than attempting to be extremely disrespectful to me? Do you have another modus operandi? Do you? Is there another motivation for you? Have you met your objective yet? Have you met your objective yet? Did you actually have a strategy, or did you just wake up with this dumbass plan? What is your objective this morning? And for those of you who are saying this, Dr. Donna, keep going, keep going. It's actually not working. It's actually not working. I'm allowing you to be part of the lesson this morning. At any time, I can just kick you out of my YouTube live and remove you from my channel. So it's not working. What social cues are you using to say that it's working? Because I'm engaging with you and this is what you sought this morning. You're still going to need another dopamine boost in about 20 minutes. Because clearly you're addicted to manufacturing dopamine. Neurologically, you don't even understand that you're the experiment this morning. You have no idea that your brain is hardwired to negativity bias, confirmation bias, gender bias, superiority complex, and inferiority complex, and you're demonstrating all of those right now. You're also demonstrating disinhibition effect, which means that you are thumb thugging this morning to say that you can just come and type whatever you want because you're a coward And that's why Turtle Man is your user ID, because if you were actually not a coward and a real person, you'd actually have your username. But because you have a job and a life outside of this that you want people to think that you're something that you actually aren't, you've created this nom de plume or this alter ego. No, you're not a real person. You're actually not. Neurologically, you have a long way to go. You have a long way to go. So this was an epic fail for you this morning, but it was a win for me, because while I'm talking about being treated with dignity and respect, you are being extremely, what you think is disrespectful. And now you're cursing. Go ahead and curse. You don't even have the confidence to curse to get kicked off of YouTube for real, for real. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is clearly a perfect example of someone not doing what I'm saying doing from a real leadership perspective, is to treat people with dignity and respect, all of humanity. Now, I'm still treating Turtle Man with dignity and respect. Now, we all know I can pull out Dee Dee from the D and read him like a nursery rhyme and drag him all over YouTube, should I desire to do that. I am a wordsmith, so I could go real, real low, or I could go real, real high. But I'm choosing to be a thermostat and not a thermometer. So anyway, you're about to leave because I am not being disrespectful, but you are. So before you leave, can you help the group understand what made you come to this particular live and choose disrespect first? What made you do that? Max, what made you wake up this morning, if you are here where it is morning, or today in general? Why in this moment in your life did you choose this action? What made you do this? Because I don't have a hijacked amygdala right now. What I'm doing is neurological. I'm actually staying in my frontal lobe, and I'm using the executive function of my brain, which I said we were going to do at the beginning of the live. So are you answering, Turtle Man, or not, so that I can actually continue on with the lesson? But thank you for a real live example. I do appreciate you actually being disrespectful, because it shows it's the antithesis or the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm still treating you with dignity and respect, as you have consistently been very much disrespectful to me, because you can be. I understand that. Okay. So I understand that neurologically you believe that you can be disrespectful. I got that. You said that about 4 times now. So we're going to elevate your lexicon this morning. And what I'm telling you to do is I'm telling you to go within. Go within. Get out of your amygdala right here in the temporal lobe and the limbic system, and create a neural pathway up here to the frontal lobe. Use the executive function of your brain, where your personality, your real personality, not Turtle Man, but who you really are, is located here. And ask yourself this definitive question. Why did you choose to be disrespectful to Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers this morning for me, as it is 5 something in the morning for me? It's 5:48. So what made you decide, I'm scrolling through YouTube, this person is live, let me be disrespectful to this person? And please don't use because I can be. Nah, I'm good. Why? You're actually not good. You're not. So what you again have demonstrated is that the negativity bias that is hardwired into your neural pathways is alive and well. You had an opportunity this morning to prune that neural pathway, create neurogenesis, start using neuroplasticity to wire your brain to this principle of real leadership that I'm currently teaching, which is to teach people with dignity and respect. You decided not to apologize for being disruptive to this learning environment. You decided not to apologize for cursing at me, attempting to call me a dumb shit, but not having the balls enough to type shit. And now you have dug in, because what I have done very calmly is hijacked your amygdala. Checkmate. You have a great day. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that's how this goes. You can still remain calm, and you can still remain in your frontal lobe while someone is trying to hijack your amygdala and be extremely disrespectful to you. Now, I had a myriad of ways that I could have handled Turtle Man Max. I chose to definitely stay in the energy that I am currently in, because I am a thermostat, not a thermometer. Now, I could have turned the heat up. I could get real cold and vicious. I could have got extremely empathetic and had potentially a breakthrough for him, a neurological breakthrough where that was a beginning of a pruning of disrespect and the actual beginning of a process for neurogenesis to create a little flicker of some new neurons for dignity and respect. And I chose to remain in the same level and temperament of energy that I have been since the live started 20 minutes ago. What questions do you have about the definition of treat people with dignity and respect, or with the process that I used in real time for Turtle Man Max? Observations, comments, feel free to say what you need to say. I'm so smart. I love it. Okay, thank you very much for calling me smart. I appreciate that. And if you need me to repeat any of the definitions that I gave, because we're getting ready to go over into why people treat you with dignity, why people don't treat you with dignity and respect. So if you didn't get any of the definitions, let me know as well, because I'm getting ready to turn the page. So I'd like to do it now before I turn the page. And again, the dignity definition is the human dignity definition, which is definitely much more advanced than just the definition of dignity in and of itself. And for those of you who are new here, if you're thinking, just type ... because I can't see you and I will not move on. So your responses are no questions or ... so that I will know to move on. You can even do NQ. And Kevin, I did reply to your email. That's part of the reason why I hit it right at 5:30, because I wanted to respond and close it out before I started on the live this morning. Okay, I will move on. So the next question in my notes is, why don't people treat people with dignity and respect? And I was about to research this morning, and I said, fuck that. I know why. I don't need no research for this. And because they don't have the neural pathways to do so. And then amazingly enough, God, who is my higher power that I believe in, sent Turtle Man Max to the live. And instantaneously, this person decided to be extremely disrespectful, or what they thought was extremely disrespectful. But when you have low cognition and a low vocabulary, you can only do so much. When your reading comprehension is at a 6th grade level, you kind of can't really elevate to my level to actually have a conversation with me. So that was a dumbass plan. At any rate, because of that, here's also the problem. So negativity bias, we are hardwired for negativity bias. I haven't said this statistic in a long time. And so hopefully I remember, because I'm sleepy this morning. So 90% of your thoughts are from yesterday. And 85%, so you have anywhere from 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. 90% of those thoughts are from yesterday. And 85% or more of those thoughts are negative because of negativity bias. So you're starting out at a deficit. So the thought of treating someone else with anything, you already at a deficit. So you can't, because you're at a deficit. So dang it, I have too much. Okay, watch this. I'm going to use an orange. Okay, I'm going to take all these oranges out of my bowl. All right, so right now I only have, can y'all see that? I only have one orange in this bowl. So if 3 people came up to me and said, can I have an orange? I'm one person, and 3 more people said, can I have an orange slice? You can't, right? Because I'm at a deficit. I only have one orange slice. So you're waking up every day at a deficit. How can you do anything for anybody else when you only have one orange slice for yourself? So that's negativity bias in and of itself. I don't have enough. Good morning. I do not have enough for me. So how can I have enough for anybody else, right? Now, you add all that together, and now you have conformity bias, which says this is how we behave, this is what we do. If you want to be in our crew, this is who you have to be. Then you have confirmation bias, which is you only seek the things out that match your bias. So if I say and I'm not saying this, if I say men ain't shit, then every day I wake up, all I'm going to be doing is looking for all the things that men are doing wrong to say, see, I told you the motherfuckers ain't shit. I told you they ain't shit. See, look what they did. Look what they, even if I got to find a needle in a needle haystack, a needle in a needle stack. And I'm looking all day long. Everything else says the men are great and all of this. I'm going to wait to the end of my day and they're going to do something minor. See, I told you they ain't shit. That's confirmation bias. And then you have superiority complex. I'm better than you because my skin complexion is better than yours. I'm better than you because I grew up on the west side of town in a gated, guarded community. I'm better than you. Or you have the inferiority complex. Hey, shit, everybody's making me feel bad. You start whining. And then you got the isms, sexism, ageism, racism, and classism, and everything else. And then you have that one that has just had us at odds with each other since the beginning of time, gender bias. And you throw all of those together, and that's just negativity on negativity on negativity on negativity exponentially. How the hell are you going to treat somebody with dignity and respect with all of that going on neurologically, physiologically, biologically, and in your face? Everywhere you go, there's all of these biases. And on top of all of that, it's wrapped up in a negativity bias bow. Where on earth is the dignity and respect going to come from? Please tell me. It's not. Because all of those neural pathways are hardwired. They were here before you got here. They've been here since the beginning of time, and they are just there, hardwired. If you ever tried to pull some cable from something that's hardwired, back in the day, we used to have the Ethernet cord because the wires were in the wall and all of that. Now you got a nice little modem and you're wireless. You don't have to be stuck right there with the Ethernet. I know ain't no laptops or nothing. You just stuck with some big ass computer stuck on the wall. You don't have to do that. Yes, those biases separate people for no reason. Well, the reason was they were necessary at one point for survival of the fittest. It was like, oh, fight or flight. We got to come together to protect ourselves from these saber-toothed tigers. But now we're trying to protect ourselves from us because we the saber-toothed tigers. Ooh, that's vicious, right? That's terrible. Oh my God. I talked about it yesterday with my stepfather. In my own home, I've got 3 people. Various different levels of abuse in my own house. That's where you're supposed, that's the safe haven. That's where it ain't supposed to be no abuse because of all of these things that people have passed down and passed down and passed down and passed down and passed down. And now it's neurological. The brain, just the pathway just goes do. And that's why you can't get treated with dignity and respect. That's why Turtle Man Max showed up ready, looking for a thumb thug and fight. Knowing if I saw him in person, that would never happen. I guarantee it would not happen. But on here, and as we know, I identified, you can't even be the real you. You can't even be the real you. So Stephen, Nola, and Kevin have their government names as their username for being on here. And sometimes I get it, you got a business and all these other things, I understand. But when your username ain't got shit to do with nothing about you, and you got a picture of you hiding. You hiding behind something. I'm going to do this because of my job. I can't. So somewhere you can't be the real you, either in life or online, but that says something about you. That's what that says to me. When I see that, I'm like, what made you pick that username? What made you do that? Confirmation bias. I can't let people know I'm over here learning about the brain. Let me go be this alter ego person. So when you're waking up and you can't give 3 people an orange, because you only got one orange, and this negativity bias from generation to generation to generation to generation, and then you have all of the conformities and the superiority complex and all these other systems, and then the caste system on top of that, where is dignity and respect coming in at? You learn it in elementary school to a certain extent, no bullying, if you see something, say something, and then you become an adult, and adults are nothing but a mirror image of children. That's what I learned when I was in the military. People would say, well, why the soldiers so bad? I'm like, where the fuck y'all think they came from? Y'all gave them to us. We're not magicians. If you sent the fucked up person to the army, we gonna send you a fucked up person back. The hell? They need to be disciplined. Why you send an undisciplined person to us? What was you doing with them for 18, 22 years? Parents? Well, y'all need to fix it. You the one broke it. But somehow we Harry Potter in this shit. Bling, bling. I can't believe they that bad. They're in the military. Look at who made them, because that's how we got them. Okay, it's only so much that can be done. So it is in your genetics. It's in your neural pathways. And now you wonder why. Let me see. Let's look at the world right now. Where is the news, the whole news station, the whole news network where they're talking about dignity and respect? Hmm? Is it DNR? DAR News Network. Here, welcome to the DAR News Network. Today, we're going to go all across the world and talk about how many people treated people with dignity and respect. We're going to start out in Louisville, Mississippi. No, that's not what's happening, because that is not what everybody is focused on a daily basis. But then people are like, you disrespected me, you disrespect, because disrespect is rewarded. Disrespect gets views. Disrespect is a dopamine manufactured boost neurologically. They're like, oh, let me go cuss the motherfucker out. Yeah, I told them. That's why it's not happening. That's why it's not happening. It's not happening because it's not rewarded, because unaccountable people currently run shit in the world. And they are disrespectful as shit. They are. They created all this manufactured ass stuff. They set the rules. And that's why Turtle Man Max decided he was going to come over here and fuck with the amazing Dr. Thomas-Rodgers, but he got an FAFO moment because he did not get the dopamine boost that he wanted. And he said, yes, I did. No, you didn't. And you trying to figure out why it didn't work. You called 1-800, I'm going to piss her off, and that number been disconnected. So you went ahead and did your conformity bias, and you thought, I'm going to say this to what appears to be an influencer, and she a woman, and her complexion is a little bit darker than mine, so I'm going here and fuck with her. That's why I love the art of war, the element of surprise, because you never know what I'm going to say or do. And sometimes it's predictable because I'm letting it be, but you never know. You just never know. So that is why people can't treat other people with dignity and respect, because all of this neurological shit and physiological shit happening on a daily basis, and it's not rewarded. Yes, disrespect get views and the news. That's what happens. That's what it is. And actually, I read Barbara Walters' book, and if people want to know when it switched, when journalists stopped being journalists, it really stopped in about the 80s. It was starting in the 70s, but by the 80s, it was all this drama. Before you used to have Walter Cronkite sitting there, everybody else said, and today's news, welcome to the nightly news, and what happened in Bangladesh is, and they just reported very much. This is what happened. And even when they was Vietnam, oh my God, it was actual real news. And then fake news became extremely profitable. And then that became the thing that we're going to do. No, we don't want to just hear the facts, but be objective is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And now it has just turned into shit show palooza, and everybody is doing it. And everybody is addicted to dopamine, and they don't even know that it's neurological, and that you can get manufactured dopamine, or you can get this natural dopamine over here. So you want to stay over here because something is alluring about the situation, but you can't quite put your finger on it. But you're waiting for me to go, that's all let me tell you. What? You're waiting on that to happen. And it's not happening, but you're still intrigued. You don't know why. Because it's oxytocin and natural dopamine with a little bit of serotonin over here. So it's the good hormones. It's the good neurotransmitters over here. That's why people can't treat people with dignity and respect, because the brain is hardwired for negativity bias. Because that manufactured dopamine that's extremely highly addictive is taking over, has taken over. And that's why it's like fight or flight, fight, flight, freeze, or appease. We're walking around, we as a humanity, with hijacked amygdalas, and you're looking for a fight, and you're looking for somebody, though, you're going, no, just don't touch me. I'm just go back in my comfort zone. Leave me alone. I don't want to be seen. And that's why it's not happening. So what questions do you have about why people can't treat people with dignity and respect? Human dignity. Why can't it happen? I know y'all probably like, well, how big is her desk? She got... She always uses something. Let me just use an orange as the example for today. Why do you have sliced oranges at 5:30 in the morning? About 6:04 in the morning. What questions do you have? And if you have no questions, say no questions. If you're thinking ... Thank you, perimenopause, for my itchy skin today. For my itchy skin today. Do we have a 12 and 3, or do we just talk about it collectively? Do we have a 12 and 3? But what do you mean by the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? I'm confused, Kevin, by your question. And for the people that are just watching, does your keyboard not work on the device that you're using? Or are you just scared to type something? Did we do a 1, a 2, and a 3, or did we just talk about why people don't treat people? Yeah, we didn't do a 1, 2, or 3. We did not. I just talked about it collectively. Yeah. It was no one. It was all of the biases. It was all of the biases and everything. So no, I didn't. I said I was not going to research it because I got the answer. So what I said was conformity bias, confirmation bias, negativity bias, superiority complex, inferiority complex, sexism, ageism, racism, gender bias, and classism. So no. Actually, Stephen, the brain can't multitask, just so you know. It is, what you're actually doing is task jumping. So you're going from one task to the next, and what happens is that's actually extremely ineffective because you're 50% as effective if you just completed the one task and then went on to the next task. That's from the book Brain Rules. So if you want to look at that, it's actually multitasking. The brain actually can't do that. It can actually only focus on one thing at a time. And so I always give you this example. So if you put your finger in front of your face, hopefully you're not multitasking right now because I'm addressing this. If you put your finger in front of your face and then you look away from your finger, then your finger will become blurry. And then if you look at your finger, everything else behind you will become blurry. So that's how you know you can only do one thing at one time and be effective at it. Okay, so moving forward, how do you treat people with dignity and respect? The number one principle of real leadership is to hold yourself and others personally accountable. That's number one. Hold yourself personally accountable. Number one. If you don't know how to do that, go to the website, sign up for a PA challenge so you can start creating neuropability, which is the brain's ability to wire itself to personal accountability. That's number one. Because anything else I say after that, you're not going to be able to fucking do because you're personally unaccountable. So you got to learn how to hold yourself personally accountable. Then you start holding others personally accountable. And that's the foundation for treating people with dignity and respect. Because if you're not going to hold people personally accountable when they're being disrespectful, then they're going to start treating people with dignity and respect. Okay. And then from there, you can actually start wiring a neural pathway for treat people with dignity and respect. Now, what will cause you not to be able to do those two things that I said? A lack of self-respect. So a lack of self-respect is the reason why you can't give it. You can't give what you don't have. If you ask me for $5 billion right now, I don't have $5 billion, so I'm not going to be able to give it to you. Go ask somebody else. Get somebody else in my New York voice. That's not going to take place. So Turtle Man Max doesn't have self-respect, which is why Turtle Man Max couldn't process dignity and respect, because it's not wired from disrespect to respect. So the disrespect neural pathway is strong as shit. But that self-respect neural pathway, he might not even have the neurons flickering to even create the synapse so that you can wire your brain to dignity and respect. So people who don't have self-respect disrespect other people. That's the answer. And that's the conundrum, or there's the rub. So how do you get self-respect? You start holding yourself personally accountable. You start holding yourself personally accountable and using the 74 principles of real leadership to wire your brain to all of these multiple different neural pathways, because the objective of personal accountability is best. Day in and day out. Day in and day out. So if you wake up every day saying, what is the best way? 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 Guess what your brain is going to start doing? Looking for the best way to do everything that you're doing. Everything. What is the best way to treat people? Treat people with dignity and respect. That is the best way to get along with human beings walking the face of the planet Earth. That's how you do that. What is the best way? And you can't do that if you have no self-respect, because negativity bias says, fuck them. You waking up every morning looking for a problem. And if you're looking for one, you're going to find one. If 85 to 90% of your thoughts and actions every day are wired to negativity, that's what you're going to spend your day doing. Disrespecting other people, to include yourself. So the answer to how to treat people with dignity and respect, number one principle of real leadership: hold yourself personally accountable first. You got to fix you first. Bend the wrist. Fix you first. And then hold everybody else around you personally accountable. And if they don't want to be personally accountable, there is plenty of room in Loserville for the unaccountables. Just send them to the left. Go left for Loserville. Okay, and I know I might be backwards to y'all by now. I know I should be correct. Go left. Go left. Because that's where I left all the unaccountable people in Loserville. That's the answer. That's it. There's no magic pill. There is no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps to treating people with dignity and respect. Self-respect leads to being respectful to other people. Now, here's the point where you'll say, well, Dr. Donna, I've been on live and you have cussed some people out. Sure have. I sure have. Because just like as an MP, there were 7 levels of force, and I have 50 shades and all kind of things. I match your level of disrespect, because what happens is unaccountable people are extremely disrespectful, and what they're not expecting in return is that you match their disrespect as if we're playing poker and then double down on that shit. So with high levels of disrespect, I then double, quadruple. I'm a math person, so I'm gonna turn that shit into exponents, and I'm gonna put it to the 10th power. You want to be disrespectful? Michelle Obama said, when they go low, you go high. I'm going to the fucking Grand Canyon. I'm going to go lower than low. I'm going to get low, get low, get low, get low. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get lower than you, because I am going to ensure that the next time we interact, you're going to think fucking twice before you're saying some dumb shit to me. And I can do it without ever cursing. I can do it at a very high level. I could read you like a nursery rhyme. I could literally say some things that are so high above your level of cognition that you won't even know that you got cursed out, but you'll be feeling really bad. Because we do not hold because once you start being disrespectful, I now have to hold you accountable for your disrespect. And that is what you see me doing. You want to be disrespectful, Turtle Man Max? Got it. I'm about to hold you accountable. And notice what Turtle Man Max couldn't do was account for his actions. And why? Because he doesn't know why. Self-reflection is something that you do when you start doing a personal accountability challenge, because you got to go within to assess your takeaways and what you're going to do about what you heard. And he can't do it because he doesn't have the neurological pathways to do it. So what Turtle Man Max did was wired to what he was normally wired to doing, which was some dumb shit. And kept going back, because I can. But I planted the seed. And now Turtle Man Max got to go back to his regular ass existence. And that seed is there. And at some point today, Turtle Man Max is going to say, why the fuck am I doing this? Now, Turtle Man Max may never change, but the thought was planted there. Bam. I'm going to get some neurons going so that Turtle Man Max can attempt to do something different. Now, he's surrounded by a bunch of negativity biased people in Loserville, and they may try to talk him out of the shit. I mean, fuck her. What's her name? I'm going on live tomorrow and fuck over too. And that may happen. And they will get blocked and read too. But you have to start holding the unaccountable people in your life that are being disrespectful accountable. And if they want to continue to be accountable and be a thermometer instead of a thermostat, I don't fuck with you like that. You can take your ass back to Loserville. If you're going to keep disrespecting people. So we had and I didn't mention this yesterday, but, or I did, I can't remember. We had a previous client that I thought Nola did a thumbs down to, and she didn't. So we showed back up there, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday on Friday. And she had a portable, a motorized moving TV stand that she was putting together. Now when we get there, I find out it's her. I tell Nola I'm not going in. Go ahead and do your thing. I'm going to sit in the car. Hour and a half later, Nola comes back to the car, talk about, I need you. I said, you need me for what? And she has this 80-inch television that needs to be mounted. Now, the reason why I said I told Nola to thumbs down her last time. She didn't hear me, but she definitely is thumbs down now, because when we were there building the thing, the woman was on a conference call with her employees and she wasn't treating them with dignity and respect. And then she started to be disrespectful to us. And that's why I said thumbs down, because your business is not doing well, and you're technically inept, and you don't know how to create sigmoid curves. So you're going to lash out at people. We're here helping you build something at your house. Your employees are they're helping you build a business, and you being disrespectful to everybody. So that's the reason why she got a thumbs down, because she wasn't treating people with dignity and respect, and still wasn't. And when we got there, Nola had to take the box upstairs for the thing. And once we're at an appointment, it's second mile service until we leave. And then it's a thumbs down for you if you come through TaskRabbit. That's how that goes, because she was not treating people with dignity and respect. You can't have five-star service if you're not a 5-star client. Those are the rules. That's how it goes. So you have to hold people personally accountable to their disrespect. And the only way you can do that is if you have self-respect. When you set and maintain high standards and you hold yourself personally accountable on a daily basis, you're not going to put up with unaccountable disrespect and their antics. But you got to do the work first. It's not going to work. Don't think you done watch this. You're going to go back and say, shit, I'm about to pull a Dr. Donna. Watch this. Because you don't have the neurological pathways. It's not going to work. You're not going to be able to do what I did because your brain is not wired for it. You have to do the daily work, wire new neural pathways, and prune those negativity bias pathways and everything else, or this shit ain't going to work. You can't watch me and through osmosis, this shit's going to happen. It's neurological. It's happening up here. So that's the whole point. When you see me holding somebody accountable and it looks like, oh, they're going back and forth. We're not. We're actually not. I've never what appeared to be a loss of control was not actually a loss of control. Because when I click off safe, as we used to say in the military, there will not be a human being that can stop it. When a bull starts charging, you just get out the way. So I'm very much aware of what is taking place, even when I'm like, motherfucker, I wish, bitch, I will fuck your ass up. Mother, I wish you. And then I can calm right back down and go into the next sentence. It's very simple for me to do. 7 levels of personal accountability, or teaching people that are not treating people with dignity and respect. First time is just calm. What brings you here today? You want elevated? We can get all the way elevated. And I'm going to go right back down because I stay on my frontal lobe. Every time. Every time. So what questions do you have about how to treat people with dignity and respect? Number 1, hold people personally accountable. First, hold yourself personally accountable, and then others. And then wire your brain to treat people with dignity and respect. That's going to happen. And when people become disrespectful, you got to hold them accountable for that. You do. And sometimes that means you'll never have another conversation with them or see them again. But it's the tolerance that all of you unaccountable people have. Well, I don't want to have no conflict. Handle conflict when it occurs is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Problem solved. You implement, you cross-pollinate those neural pathways or the neuropability by using those, and now you've solved the problem. So the people who attend regularly knew Turtle Man didn't have a chance. That's why they didn't say nothing and they didn't type anything, because they knew homeboy about to get it and we're going to finish our lesson today. That's what's happening. So what questions do you have before we go into our cognitive fitness activities for the day? Do you understand what's happening? Why people are disrespectful, and what you as a person who wants to be personally accountable needs to do on the daily basis to hold yourself personally accountable, treat yourself with dignity and respect, and then you will treat others with dignity and respect. And don't think for one second that a person that's treating others with dignity and respect respects themselves. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. Your brain is either wired to treat people with dignity and respect or not wired to do it. When they don't talk like that to their family and friends, yes, they do. You just don't see it. A disrespectful motherfucker is disrespectful. They're not picking and choosing. They're like, oh, let me use my respect neural pathway. Oh, no, let me use my disrespect. No, it's like it's only 2 types of people in the world. Those who hold themselves personally accountable and those who are personally unaccountable. That's it. It's 100%. If you start to understand that everything other human beings do is based upon what's happening neurologically, your life will be very much simple. And you will not be and don't get me wrong, every now and then I will click off safe. Definitely. Not in that way, but my amygdala will get hijacked, and then I will check myself immediately. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You didn't let them hijack your amygdala. If you don't get your ass back in your frontal lobe and get it together. Okay. You're going to go to, on your second device, you're going to, because you should already be on the website, but if you're not, theturnarounddoctor.com, you're going to go to the social media tab. So turnarounddoctor.com, I made this simpler for you today. Nola and I made some adjustments to the homepage for YouTube, so it's going to be simpler to find this playlist. It's at the top. Once you're on the social media tab, YouTube is the top social media selection. So go ahead and select YouTube, and it should take you to my YouTube channel homepage. And it does. And for those of you, if you look up at the top, for anybody that thought I was lying, you can see that there are 980 subscribers and 11,000 videos. So it's right there for everyone to see. Okay. All right. You can actually see that there's 7 people watching the live right now too. That's pretty cool. So the playlist that we will be using today is A and Q, and it's already at the top. So you're going to select the second video that says, yep, red. So let me know that you are there on the YouTube homepage and you are at the yep, red video. Thumbs up or yep, I'm here, some type of notification so I can give you your next set of instructions. theturnarounddoctor.com, YouTube, social media, YouTube, and then you will be on the home page. So, Nola, you're there. Got it. theturnarounddoctor.com, social media tab. YouTube is the first selection. You will be on the home page. You'll see the A and Q playlist. And the video title is Yep, Red. Wonder what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch that one video. Do not, it's going to say swipe up to see the next video. You're not going to do that. It's I think about a 20-second video, something like that. None of these videos are long. So go ahead and watch Yup, Red. And when you finish, type in whatever came up for you, whatever aha moment, whatever your takeaways are. No, this is not a membership channel, Brimo. It's not. It's open to everybody. So you can just follow along. No, ma'am. It's open. My channel is not paid, and it has been open for soon to be 12 years in August. So if you'd like to participate, just go to the home page on a second device and look at A and Q. Yes, you can just look at A and Q. The video is Yep, Red if you go to the home page. And then once you watch it, don't swipe up. Just watch that one video. Okay? And watch that one video, and whatever comes up for you, takeaways, action items, aha moments, damn, reflections, whatever, just type it in the comment section. Oh no, more comments. Back is hurting. We had a long day yesterday. It's not hurting, it's just stiff. I need to stretch. Yes, Bremo says not having any substance behind changes, just doing for appearances. Yes. Mm-hmm. I have a Dr. Donna quote that says, new outfit, old mindset, you updated the wrong shit. New outfit, old mindset, you updated the wrong shit. And I did make that highlight and sent that added bit on this pen's still going, y'all. This is right here. This is Survivor right here. This pen. I do have one on standby, but it's still writing on Post-its. So for everybody else, the ... so I know at a minimum you're thinking, or your comment should be popping up. For the people who said Kevin, okay. Nola, when folks avoiding fixing the real problems, yes. I say fix you first, it fixes a lot. And people have often asked me, especially on Instagram Lives, well, how do you have so much confidence? Where is this confidence come from? What you doing? The work. I'm doing the work daily. Listen, and confidence is an inside out job. I literally have a video talking about confidence, how people think you could go purchase it. I'm gonna pull up in the, I got it, I'm gonna do it, and now I got my boat, I got my, what is it, country club membership and all of that. And you think you can go purchase it, but you can't. You actually can't purchase confidence. It's an inside out job. You have to do the work day in and day out, and you will have just an extreme amount of self confidence by just doing the work on the daily basis. So you don't have to shop anymore. Just go within. Fix you first. That's what you can do. Okay. Kevin and Steven, what are your thoughts? And then we can close this bad boy out. And this is an example of me, because I've said I app smash. This is an example of me using the Snapchat lens to prove a point. This is a powerful video. Reminds me of the PA challenge about mirror versus x-ray. Yeah, versus MRI. Yes. Yes. And so that's what happens. And that's why I say that quote all the time. The emperor has no clothes on, because the little boy thought the emperor thought he was doing something. And the little boy said, why does the emperor have no clothes on? So what you talking about? I'm clothed. And it's basically saying, because you empty. You ain't got, I see you. I see you think you got on all these little, you know, you doing some big things. You at Fashion Week, but you are naked. I see who you actually are. 100%. Definitely. And now, and again, our neighborhood that we live in, and this, I'm not even about to apologize. So we now see so many G-Wagons, Phantom SUVs, Bentleys, Rolls Royces, whatever. We start rolling our eyes at them. Just like sit at the light, they got the big ass watch on the arm, just thinking they doing something, getting out, just like, okay, here we go. Here we go. When somebody that thought they could go, and y'all think y'all see the Cybertrucks. We were seeing them we saw one and we saw another one, and we could tell when we hit the street that's in the area that we live in, because this Cybertruck palooza, just go to Trader Joe's and just insane how much people think that they're just bugging around thinking they're doing something with all their, and it was that, and growing up in the hood, you would have thought I've been so impressed. I'm like, man, y'all ain't doing shit. Y'all thought y'all could go purchase this. That's the hilarious part of it all. He spent all these millions of dollars on his homes and these private schools and everything else, and y'all just regular. Real regular. Go to their house, they eat. First thing they do is pick up their fork and do like this. I'm like, regular. You might as well be the Beverly Hillbillies. Okay, anyway. Yes. All right, Stephen, are you still here? You multitasking again? I'm going to go ahead and move on for the sake of time, but you feel free to go ahead and chime in and type up your things. Yeah, so this video was made app smashing. I use all different types of apps to convey messages. I will be eggs. I will be a dog, an old lady. Sometimes I am a strawberry to convey a message. And I learned this from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, how he used to use the puppets and everything. Because sometimes if you see me and hear me, then it might make you go, ugh. But if you see a dog that says, what don't make no doggone sense, now you're just going to hear what I'm saying. It happens. What's funny is I'll let Nola hear me say something, and then I'll show it to her. She's like, I can't believe you are a batch of strawberries right now. I am, but I have to convey this message. And that's what we will be experiencing now that we have read all of the articles and everything. We're going to spend a lot of time here on YouTube so that you can understand it and see the message that is real leadership in a myriad of different ways, because you think it's just this one thing. Everybody said, niche it down, niche it down, niche it down for me. And I'm like, I'm not doing that, because we are very complex creatures and the brain is extremely complex. So at that point, I have to be able to get different messages to you to create new neural pathways. So I can't just say, well, personal accountability is just this. I mean, there are 74 principles of real leadership for a reason. And then when you just start combining them, that's where the unlimited neural pathways that are being created are coming from. With that being said, yesterday, the real leader principle was be honest. So what did you do yesterday to be honest? And I told one of Nola's clients that she was going to die if she if she kept that schedule up that she was on. I'm like, listen here, we perimenopausal. You burning the candle at all. And she said, just 270 days. I said, okay, December 15th, you're going to hear from me. I'm going to go ahead and let you do this. If you make it to the end. And we know I'm working on my honesty. I struggle with telling the truth. Yeah, not at all. That's not something that's a concern for me. I will tell it all. I am a living testimony. Should have been dead and gone. And somebody on Threads asked, how many times have you almost died? And I counted and it was 8, but it's actually 9. That's a lot. That's a lot of times to still be here. And most of them was not while I was in the military. Yes, you were honest telling the client that they had 2 wrong handles, and 2 years ago, you would have not been able to do that. And you were also honest in updating the second appointment that we were not going to be on time because of the other appointment. Now, while you all are typing, and Lola, if you're here and you can type answer, that would be great. If you're busy, I understand. But here's what happened. And Nola, you can't say anything. So with the first appointment we had to change hinges on 10 doors. 6 of those doors had 4 hinges and the other 4 had 3. And then we had to change handles on 8 of the doors as a previous client. Okay, so we're downstairs and the first door that we do is a door with 4 hinges on it because of the height of the door. And it's the husband's office. So Nola changes the hinges and she goes in the office and she closes the door to make sure that the hinges are flush. She locks herself in the office because the handle was messed up. Now we're 25 minutes trying to get her out of this office, and how the house was made, even though the office was at the front of the house, there were window panes. So she was not going to be able to go out of any of the 3 windows. So the wife tries to find a handle. Her and Nola are going back and forth to try to get her out. It's not working. She tells Nola, open the window. Let me hand you a screwdriver or something. And then that didn't work. And then so now we're sliding different tools. Nola's saying, get this tool out of my backpack. Get this tool. So we're sliding because she needs a small screwdriver. We're sliding it under the door. And it took us 25 minutes to get her out of that office. Now she can't climb through the window. I'm like, we're going to have to call emergency responders. The jaws of life going to have to get you out. She then tells me after she gets out, what was wrong with me? Why was I panicked? It was no big deal. Now, for those of you who are listening, if your child is locked in an office and the handle don't work and the windows are paned windows, so she can't get out of the windows. And this is the first door of an appointment for changing out hinges and doors. And then y'all know I don't do hinges, I don't do doorknobs or nothing else. She literally told me there was no reason for me to be panicked. Please chime in and tell me if I was overreacting and there was no reason for me at all to be sweating or have any kind of, this is a problem. Just let me know your thoughts. Kevin, you said, I told my uncle when he tells me he loves me that I feel nothing because it's in. Ooh, wow. Okay, Kevin. Because it's empty and has no actions. Well, damn. How'd that make you feel? So please, even the people watching, chime in. Just chime in and tell me if I was overreacting. Nola said I was overreacting. I don't feel like I was overreacting. I didn't go, oh my God, what are we going to do? Because then I put the ladder back in the car and she told me, I got to teach you how to put the ladder back in the car. I said, I know how to put the ladder back in the car. I was under duress because it was the first door and we had 9 more doors to do. And then go to an appointment where we had to mount 20 blinds on the other side of town. Why do we say on the other side of town when it's a city? Other side of town. Let me do that as a daily. So Kevin, you're saying how that made you feel, and then anybody else other than Nola, I've already expressed, she said it wasn't a big deal. Anybody else? Was it a big deal? And I'm okay if we agree that it wasn't a big deal. I will take that under advisement. If I know we're over, if you need to go, I totally understand. We had a real live disrespectful person on. I needed to take that opportunity to let that movie play out. I'm honest with myself of not knowing how to approach an executive that is telling staff to downgrade the services they are receiving for my division, and this will skew the survey after services. Well, Bree, here's what I will tell you. I spent almost 10 years in corporate America. What you're going to do is write everything down, and you are going to present the facts to the executive. And then, but before you do that, you're going to seek first to understand and then be understood. It's a method I learned at Frito-Lay. So you just want to meet with and understand the thought process from the executive's perspective. And then from there, you all can have open dialogue about what is the best course of action. That's why personal accountability is so important, because it seeks the best ways in everything. And communicate effectively is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. If you don't know, ask is one of the principles of real leadership, and listen. All 3 of those go together. So see how that creates a new neural pathway for you. So you're going to meet with them, understand from their perspective, and then after you gather that information, then you're going to talk with that person. Additionally, handle conflict when it occurs is the last component of that. Yes, the last component of that, and the objective with handle conflict when it occurs is collaboration, not compromise. Compromise just pisses everybody off. Collaboration strives for win-win. So everybody involved has an opportunity to be heard, and then everybody collectively finds the best solution. So sometimes what happens to executives is they just keep rinsing and repeating the same shit, especially if they're over the age of 35, because the working memory starts to deteriorate at 35, and then it really just goes to shit by 65. So if they don't have any new information, then they're going to do, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing without and expect a different result. But if it worked in the past, they're just saying implement that strategy without even taking in new information. So set up the meeting, understand first, and then present all new information. Be prepared with facts, not feelings, and then you should be able to resolve that with that person. Okay, with that executive. Kevin, and then if you got numbers, scorecards, metrics, always use 3 data points or more to prove your point. So 3 periods worth, 3 months worth, a quarter's worth of data that says when we've done this in the past. Now do the executive summary, keep it short and simple to 1 page, and then hand it, and that should work well for you. All right, Kevin, it felt good, and he said 3 data points. Yes, so it's all facts. Don't say I feel or anything. You can say here's what the data says. Here's what the results were in the past, survey results. So keep it on the facts, 100% on the facts. And what will happen if you can attach money or services decline in service, whatever your metrics are that are being measured, if you can put that visibly for them to see, then you'll be good to go. Unless they're a fucking bumbling idiot, then start looking for employment. Because I worked for them too. They had a lot of jobs at Frito-Lay in 9 years and 2 months. Okay, Kevin, it felt good. And he said he understood. No, you didn't overreact. It's called mother mode. Thank you, Kevin. I knew, and I asked you, I knew you specifically because you do construction as well. Locked in a damn room. And I'm supposed to be calm. You see that, Nola? And that's Kevin does construction projects. I was right. Thank you. And Lola, if you can type, let me know. And anybody else that want to chime in, 25 doggone minutes. And it was not working. And we couldn't pick the lock. Now, I ain't saying I never picked the lock in my life. I'm just saying that wasn't working. And we didn't want to damage the door. 2. So we had to take a lot of factors into consideration. Come to find out, that door wasn't there initially when the house was built because the hinges were squared off instead of round. So it was shoddy construction work to begin with. So whoever put the doggone handle and all that in there didn't know what they was doing. Unaccountable motherfucker got my daughter locked in the room for 25 minutes. And it was 2 more other doors that they didn't put the circle thing in, whatever it is. You know, I don't know the name of it, but it wasn't centered. So she had to do some little finagling to get the doggone thing on there. All right. Today's real leader principle is treat people with dignity and respect. Do that all day long. And if you got to check a motherfucker to get it done, hey, do that too. Earn opportunity. All right. Don't start none, won't be none. Finally, what did you learn today? What did you learn today? I learned the definition of human dignity, which I had been in my head the whole time knowing that. It was almost like when I found out about the 3 brains, the head, the heart, and the gut, and that was already in my book. Synchronicity. I said, that's what the definition that has been in my head the entire time. I'm texting that to myself. That's why I made it the PA and the real leader brain for today as well. So long day yesterday. I'm getting ready to go take a nap. Yes. You do. So Lola, what's going to happen is, in theory, for me, I can't see it once it's immediately posted. But if you just stay on the YouTube channel, on the homepage, all the lives are posted. So yeah, ouch. Yes, you can watch it from the beginning. If it's not there immediately, just check back a couple minutes after the live and it will be there. So they're all there on the live tab of the homepage. Your son said take heed from her lead. So it wasn't a big deal? Okay. So the son said it wasn't a big deal. Or me. My pleasure, Bree. Nola, I understand your perspective. I just felt you were doubting my skills to get myself out of the room. That's not what was happening, sweetie. You shouldn't have never been locked in the damn room. The construction shouldn't have been shoddy. That's all I'm saying. I mean, and then the thing about it is, she'll say that, but if we separate in the grocery store and she checks out before me, she'll try to call the damn security at the doggone grocery store because she thinks somebody grabbed me and tried to human traffic it to me. Ain't nobody, I'm too damn old. Ain't nobody. So she literally will be like, I was about to go call the cops and find out where you were. I'm like, I'm in the Albertsons. We are in fucking Smith's. Okay. Ain't no abductions happening in the produce section. Okay. She'll do that. But and I understand it wasn't a matter of your skill set. You literally, the handle was not on the door. That's all I'm saying. When there ain't a handle on the door and you see the inner workings of that and it's not turning, it's time to go, what the hell? Okay? That's all. I didn't act a fool. I wasn't like, oh my child, oh my God. I had a little palpitation, a little bit of sweat on my brow because, it take a lot for me to like lose it. But yeah. All right. Kevin, you said learned adults are mirror images of kids. They are. That's what all this mean girl and peer pressure. That's why you got 65-year-olds saying, what you doing acting like a grandma? We out here, hot girl summer, sugar mama summer, pop it and drop it. Hey. 50 is the new 30. 50 is the new 30 till your old ass try to get out of the chair. Okay? Okay? I got Luke Campbell knees. I do not have Meg the Stallion knees. I try to shake that, make that booty pop. Something might break. Okay? I know I'm 52. All right? I do the one leg up. I'm going to be in traction at the doggone hospital by the house. So, but we are the peer pressure, everything. It is all we did. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. We go over people's houses. They got rooms full of pops and Star Wars and all kind of stuff. Everything. Had a client. He had a Star Wars shirt on with NASA jacket and the Cybertruck in the driveway because he is living at his best life. He always wanted that damn vehicle, and now he got it. So yes, we are 100%. Okay, Steven, you said denial is real. It is. And then they pull them readers out, Bree, thinking they doing something. And we ain't got them tight ass faces. And then here they go at the restaurant with a flashlight and some readers. You just gave it away. Fuck it. Just go ahead. We know you ain't fooling nobody. Steven said, I learned a lot about biases and the fact that they used to be used for survival against predators, now against other people. Also had to deal with higher ups that facts not feeling. Yes, my pleasure for both of you all. Yes. So welcome, Bree and Steven. I'm live every day at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can go watch the other lives. We are in the process of going by each individual 74 principles of real leadership. If you go to theturnarounddoctor.com, you can actually see those principles there. If you want to find out more about me, just go to my LinkedIn. I'm a bad mofo. No need to waste time today telling you. You will see it on your own. Feel free to come back again. This live is open to everybody. 5:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Pacific Standard Time today is my day 511th of going live consecutively. Because I walk the walk. Daily personal accountability is what I do. Does anybody else have any other questions before we get out of here today? So now we understand that Nola thought I was questioning her competence. And we also understand that I was saying, I need to get my child out of this situation because I looked at all the exits. And so I was more like, how can we, if this door, and I mean, it's one of those tall doors because it had 4 hinges. So, if a door has 4 hinges, how high it can be. So not because I was just going to break it down, but that would, she had just put the hinges on it. Like, this is going to cause a bigger problem. So it was more so how to preserve the door and get the other 9 doors done. 74 Principles of Real Leadership is something new for me and your page. Thank you for doing. We'll watch and pick up what you put down here. Okay, great. Yes, ma'am. That is awesome. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your attendance today. I will be back, God, higher power, and the universe willing, por la mañana. Same time, same place, same face, different t-shirt. You all go off and have a sensational, super duper Sunday. Adios.